It's Audra and welcome back to 365 Projects. I am here today for my June wrap-up. It is a little late because of the whole moving process, and so I just kind of want to dive right in. I did not get to read a whole lot of books in May because of the end of the school year, closing out my library, moving, all that kind of stuff, and so I only have 6 books to share with you today. I thought 5 of them were 4 stars and 1 was a 5-star. However, I'm bumping one of those up to a 4.5 star, so let's just get into it. The first 4-star book that I read was The Tattooist of Auschwitz, and it's by Heather Morris. This is one I found on Book Depository. I believe this is a UK book. You can't find it anywhere. I tried finding it on Amazon, and it really wasn't available, and so I found it on Book Depository. Now, this is based on a true story of Lael Sokolov. I'm not sure how you exactly say that, so sorry if I butchered that. But this is about a man whose name is Lael, obviously, and he's about 18 years old, and he agrees to go on one of the train cars with the Nazis in order to save the rest of his family at the beginning of the war. And obviously, you find out that it doesn't go as planned, and he becomes the tattooist of Auschwitz. And it's just kind of his story and about the woman he meets and about how they save each other. And it's a beautiful story. Based on all the other Holocaust stories that I've read, it wasn't quite up to par with what I've read, but it is a story that the author received from the subject himself. And so if you like World War II or maybe like a memoir style, I would definitely check this one out if you haven't yet. The second book that I finished in May was Class Mom. I believe it's by Lori Gelman. And I think her husband's like a director of a daytime show or something. I don't know. That's what the people in my book club were saying, but I had never really heard of this other person either. This was actually a funny read. It still was a 4-star for me. This is about a kindergarten class mom, and so I didn't relate as closely as to it because I have no children myself. However, as a teacher, I could definitely appreciate the comedy behind this class mom messing with all the other parents in her child's class, and just kind of being snarky and straightforward, and it was very, very funny. So if you need a funny light read, it's hysterical. I'd also recommend it if you're from the Kansas City area, which is where I live now. That's where the setting of this book actually is, in Overland Park. And so a lot of the places that they talked about, like Minsky's Pizza, we eat Minsky's Pizza before every single Royals game. And so it's kind of fun to see those places that I know already. And then they talk about going down to Wichita, which is more of the area where my hometown kind of is, and where all of my oncology appointments are. So I could really see the different parts in the book, which isn't obviously explored a lot, being from Kansas, and so that was fun to see as well. The third 4-star book of the month was The Tea Dragon Society by Katie O'Neill. This is a children's graphic novel about tea dragons that these people, obviously it's a fantasy, they save them and help take care of them and the relationships between those people. I don't remember the characters' names. I don't remember a whole lot about the story. I gave it a 4-star basically because of the illustrations are gorgeous. I don't know if I'll go any further if they make more or not yet, but it was an enjoyable, it was a quick read. I picked it up because April from April is Maximus absolutely loved it, and I totally agree with her. The illustrations are phenomenal. The storyline was just a little not quite enough there for me to want to continue on any further. My fourth 4-star book was an audiobook of Before the Devil Breaks You. It is number 3 in the Diviner series by Luba Bray. Now, this series and I have a love-hate relationship. I gave the first book a 5. Absolutely loved it. The second book a 3. The fantasy was just way too much, it all took place in the dream world. And this last one I gave a 4. So I honestly can't share a whole lot about it because it is the third book in the series. But I honestly don't remember a whole lot at this point in June, which is not a good thing when it comes to where a series left off, because I think there's more that are going to come out later this year, perhaps. And I'm just kind of not quite that into the series, which is crazy because everybody on BookTube loves it. Now, maybe I am not a series reader. I already know that. So maybe I should have just stuck with book 1 and called it there, but I didn't, and I mean, it was an enjoyable listen. The audiobook narrator is fantastic. Can't recommend her enough. But it's another one I'm not quite sure if I'll continue, so I guess you'll just have to wait and see. And my 4.5-star book is A Princess in Theory by Alyssa Cole. This is the first book in the Reluctant Royals series, and the cover is just gorgeous. The colors I love, but I absolutely fell in love with these characters. So you have Naledi, who is a grad school student in the medical field. She does like science, obviously, duh. But she gets these emails that she is betrothed to this African prince, and she just blows it off like it's no big deal. I'll come to find out, he is a real person, and she is actually from his country, and so you find that whole backstory out. However, it's one of the fake relationship or like fake identity tropes because he hides who he is because he doesn't want to scare her away. There are some hot and steamy scenes that were pretty delightful, not gonna lie. So if you like a romance, definitely check this one out. I am very excited that the second one in the series comes out July 31st, and I'll be picking that up and probably pre-ordering it actually. It is about her best friend, I think Portia, and another man. So if you are looking for a romance, especially a diverse one, definitely check this book out. I can't recommend it enough. I'm super excited to see what happens in the second book, and I really, really hope that these two characters make an appearance in it. And the last book that I have to share with you is my only 5-star book of the month, and that is The Last Ride to Graceland. It is by Kim Wright. Another gorgeous cover. This is one that I've had on my TBR list since last summer, and it is actually about Elvis in a roundabout way. Well, in a lot-about way. But this is about a woman who is grieving the loss of her mother and who has died from breast cancer. So I'm to the point where I think I need to make a video just about trigger warnings and cancer, because I did not know going into this that she had died from breast cancer. And so that's kind of a personal topic, I guess. But anyway, so this woman, she has been told to go get her stepfather's waders, like galoshes, out of the shed, or out of the house, but do not go down to the shed. Well, she goes down to the shed. Inside the shed is this old car that is essentially Elvis's. And she knows that her dad is not her real dad. And so she thinks her father might be Elvis. And so she goes on this road trip to take this old car back to Graceland. And it's kind of neat along the way, like it goes back and forth between present day and history. So it's her story for a chapter, and then it's her mom's story at certain plot points along the trip back. And you kind of see how her mom's life as a background singer for Elvis created her life, and who her real father is, if it is in fact Elvis. What were the relationships of the people and who you meet along the way. I just really, really enjoyed it. It was a quick read, but I kind of drew it out a lot further than it needed to be because I was just so in love with the story and the style of the story and how it was written and the characters. I didn't want it to end. So if that sounds like a book you would like, definitely get this one. It was my only 5-star pick of the month just for the reading experience and not wanting it to be over. So those are the 6 books that I read in May. I wish I would have got to read some more, but I just didn't. Really, I can't complain because there was nothing below a 4-star, so that is pretty good. That normally doesn't happen, especially as like getting into the month of June. I already have a couple books that I've rated at like a 2, and so I know I will have a lot more to share with you in the next month's wrap up because I have done 2 readathons already for this month, and I have a whole lot more I would like to get to as well. So that is all I have for you today. If you have read any of these books, please let me know down below and what your thoughts were, or if you have recommendations for me, please leave them down below as well, because you can never have too many books to put on your TBR list. So until next time, bye guys!